Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Right, today I've got to say something that many of us have been waiting for with great anticipation, and we are very honoured and privileged that it's one of the subscribers, good friend of the channel, Stewart Neale, has actually let me have this straight directly from the supplier, and I'm going to give them a quick plug because their packaging was perfect again, and it's Jumblies Models, who is my personal favourite supplier. Well, them and Tiger Hobbies, I think they're on a different level, the pair of them actually. Both brilliant suppliers, and the rest, I won't go to get onto that train again and talk about the ones I don't like, but I mean, they really did pack this beautifully. I mean, you'd have to have had a train crash or something to damage it. It was almost like one of those, reminds me of one of those nuclear flasks that the atomic industry used to test on trains. But anyway, I'm digressing. It's a beautiful, very expensive model. Now, this is retailing. He's actually paid, I believe, £145, but it retails for about 145 to 160 quid thereabouts in the UK. And it has been a bit delayed. Now, I haven't seen anybody else's review. I did see about 2 or 3 photographs. That's all I've seen. So I'm not au fait with it at all. I have no preconceptions about it. Well, I might have about the instructions, but let's hope I'm proven wrong. So let's just go. We don't need a huge history about the Henkel He.111. I think I'm going to have a quick slurp of coffee. We've also got, and then we'll get cracking. We've also got, sorry, I'm interrupting myself there, the actual official border model resin figures, the actual crew. So you've got basically the bomb aimer, navigator, and the 2 gunners, and the pilot, of course. So you've got 5 figures, absolutely very light. Obviously, they're really light. They are 3D printed, I'm sure. You can tell by them. There's no weight, and it's almost like it floats away. Bizarre, but anyway, what a wonderful thing for him, for one of our community, to actually let us have that first before he's seen it himself. I think we all owe him a debt of thanks. So thank you very much, Stuart. It's a 10 out of 10 for you, from me, whatever the content's like, because I think it's very kind of you to let us see it so quickly. So I'll just have a quick drink, slurp, and we will begin. So what have we got? Kit number, what are they calling this one? So it's the 35th scale, absolute monster with full interior. I mean, it really is an absolute beast. Strangely, it doesn't say 35th scale on the side. Does it say on the front? Doesn't seem to mention it. How very strange. You know, it's there. Yeah, it's down at the bottom. It's not on the side there. Oh, it is. Yeah, sorry. It's just it's a lot smaller. So it's going to be a big baby. It's going to be a big review, which is why I don't want to sort of give too much history and get bogged down with taking up too much of your time. I think you just want to see it, really, and I'll try and facilitate that for you. So here we go. Henkel He.111, of course, needs very little introduction, using the Spanish Civil War to help General Franco, and of course in the Battle of Britain, once and against Poland and the Low Countries, and then in the Battle of Britain, as I say, against the UK. Did sort of mint its comeuppance a bit once it met the Spitfires and the Hurricanes, but of course we know that. So we got a dorsal gun turret with detailed MG15 machine gun. Clearly there's some photo etch which it depicts on the side here. Full detailed nose and cockpit interiors with a pilot, gunner, navigators, seats and machine gun FF cannons provided. Full detailed fuselage with interior provided. Wow, I mean, this is not going to be a weekend build, boys, is it? Eh? How long? Well, you've all seen the way I'm getting along with this Mosquito. Well, I'm not that slow a build. It's only taken 2 years and 2 months almost now. But I'm about almost halfway through. So this will take me about 10 years, I reckon. Anyway, let's have a look at these markings on the side. What we got here? The Sturmgeschwader 3, North Africa, 1941, Desert Campaign. General Wever of the Pathfinder and Marker mission for 4, Fleet Corps in Hungary in summer of 1944 there. And then we've got KG Kampfgeschwader 26, big one, in Sicily 1941, and then the same guys in Italy December 1942. Oh, so there's no Battle of Britain version. That's a little bit disappointing, actually. Oh, I'm a bit surprised about that. And yeah, border model industry. So let's see what we've got then. Now, I have to start by saying, I'm going to treat this with complete open mind. I would say though that the box, perhaps it's not the sexiest assembled box, but it's quite rigid and rugged Very good for a heavy, big kit, you know. So it's, you know, just protects it quite well, quite a meaty box. Unlike what we've seen from Airfix and Revell recently on some of their bigger kits. So, yeah, they get top marks for that, I've got to say. And it opens like an ICM almost. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it is. It's really, can you see that? It's really beefy, that box. Proper box. Put that down very gently because I don't want to scratch the face. Look how high it's stacked. I'm almost struggling to see over it. Let's, oh gosh. A box of clear parts. Look at that. Wow, that's cool. This is going to take a while just to get it out of the box, I think. Box of clear parts. And you've got some of the sprues are in boxes, look. Gosh. Okay. Getting this back in might be a challenge, Stuart. Oh, that's not me. I've never opened it before. That's slightly open. Put that back. Just some of the smaller sprues again in a box. And some are in boxes, some aren't in boxes. Not so sure where that is. Anyway, we'll get straight into this because, as I say, there's a lot of it, and we want to be sure. Oh, that's a little bit creased, isn't it? They haven't protected that very well. Well, that surprised me. So they've got some sprues in boxes for no apparent reason, and they've got your instructions not protected at all, which is slightly silly, I think. That would have been better in a bag. We've talked about that before, haven't we? Airfix and Revell are all guilty of it as well. There's a lot, isn't there? Well, they put the decals in a bag, thank goodness. So at least they're protected. I think that Border have a very low opinion of instructions, as we know. So, what I will do is I'll pop those just over here. Gentle, gentle. It's got to go over there. It's a big old box. I don't know where to begin, really. I'll tell you what we'll do. Why don't we start with the figures and just get them out of the way, because they are separate kit, really. So let's zoom you in a bit. I'm very conscious that I was talking recently, of course, just mentioned that the channel, I've got to plug the channel, mentioned that we now have memberships on the channel. And I was saying that there have been one or two minor issues with my camera, which I hope is not going to cause us any problems, but yeah, slight issues with the zooming function. So I'm going to try, when I show you the sprues and I think it's particularly critical, I'll probably go a bit quieter than normal, and I'll try and dwell, and I won't just do this thing where, you know, I move it slightly. Normally with a really good focus system it wouldn't be an issue, but on this camera it's one weak point. It's got a great lens, sharp, but its ability to refocus isn't great, so I will try and slow down and I'll dwell a little bit longer and let you have a good old stare. So here we go, this is your 3D printed figures. And you see it's matching, it's the actual crew for the He.111 H-6, and it's best for set BF018, which is the He.111. What do they call this one? Oh, this is BR008, they call it. BR008, so this is the set you want. Now I did say, you have to forgive me on this, I did say Stewart had paid 145 quid there, about give or take a pound or two. I didn't double check. I think that was total, so I think that includes these. So I think it retails around 130, 135 £135 the actual kits. Anyway, there's no point in quoting prices really sometimes, because whatever price I quote, somebody will be doing it differently or discounting them if they're not moving or whatever. But I can't imagine they'll have a problem shifting these. Unlike the Lancaster, which was way too big for most people, this is, well, it's too big for me, I've got to be honest. But it's a bit more manageable, isn't it? It's not quite such a monster. Can I get into this? They have rather unwisely used a staple, Tamiya fashion, which we could well do without. Have I got to unseal the bags as well? No, they haven't got resealable bags. That's a mark against them. Just means I've got a lot of resealing to do at the end. Right, now bear in mind this is not my property, so I can't just go ripping at it like an idiot, yeah? So, come out as well as right. Anyway, it's nice that they've protected it. So what have we got then? Let's open them up one by one. So this might take a little bit of time actually. Right, I should put them back again. Okay, so this is the gunner, one of the machine gunners. I hope this background won't be too much of a problem. Well, I've got to say they're beautiful figures. These are really nice. Can we see it? There we go. Yeah. Better I just move all of that actually. It's going to cause problems otherwise, isn't it? There we are, that's better. So this guy is sort of standing up on a, there's like a step in the aircraft, and he stands up, he's got his parachute on just in case it all goes horribly wrong, which it probably will, especially if they're up against Spitfires in the Battle of Britain. It going wrong is just a matter of running down the clock till Douglas Bader or Stanford took, or Brian Lane or Al Deer or one of those heroes rocks up. And then we've got his head here, and he's got an oxygen mask on. Can you see that? It's nice. Looks a bit like Alien, doesn't it? But it is, it's really cool. Yes, I like that, I do. So that's a good one. Let me just pop that back in for safety reasons. And bring you back, otherwise you'll be staring at absolutely nothing. So what they've done there, it's good, the packaging's really good, I'm very impressed with it actually. Apart from that instruction book, they've just let that float around and get whacked. I don't understand, why did they not think the instructions are important? We don't want them all creased, do we? We've done the right thing on everything else, that makes no sense at all, but anyway. It's almost like a bit of an afterthought. But with Border, I've said it before, say it again, everything in terms of instructions is always an afterthought. It's like the thing that they seem to prioritise the lowest, it seems to me. So, excuse me, but I've got this blooming staple still bucking us. Next one. This is the seated gunner this time. So let's bring you in. They're nice little figures, these. They're very well done, I've got to say. Here we go. So this is the seated machine gunner. And he sits in the ring, the one's in the ring on top. Top gunner. Top turret. That is very nice, like the boots. Parachute. He sits on his parachute. There's his arms. Whoops. Get the focus, there we go. That's it. I'm actually wrong, I beg your pardon, it's not the gunner. I just realised he's got binoculars in his... Hello, focus please, see what I mean? Focus please, he's got binoculars in his hand, so it's not the gunner, he's the navigator. That's why he's sitting on his parachute, he's the navigator, I beg your pardon. And here he is, here's his head. His oxygen mask on. Very nice. Okay, so that's the navigator, sits next to the pilot. And then we have the gunner, I think. This is the gunner. It's about marking it really, isn't it? Oh, this is the pilot. Actually, it's the pilot. Here we go. Here he is. The pilot himself sitting on his parachute. Just like I did when I flew in the Spitfire. Same thing, use it as a seat cushion. Nice, isn't it? Look at all those belts. They've done that really nicely. They're very sharply moulded. It's you can tell it's resin. It's not like injection moulding. It's just different, isn't it? Really. So there he is, and here he is. He's going to have the yoke. It has like a dog leg design of yoke on these, doesn't it? Okay, it's like an L shape, operated by gears and pulleys. And here's his head. That's your pilot. His oxygen mask. That makes sense. Can you see that okay? Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah. Very good. Okay, so that's 3 of them. I'll just see if I can dig out the other 2 here. So that leaves us with the bomb aimer and the other gunner, the seated gunner. It's the top ring gunner, not the one I said before, which turned out to be the navigator. So, which is he? Okay, so this is the bomb aimer. if there are any instructions. There's no instructions as such for them, so you've just got to work it out. So it's just the position he's got his knee in. He's sort of kneeling on a seat behind. I think there's kind of a, I mean, maybe just kneeling on the back of the seat. I'm not sure which it is. But if you look carefully, you see he's definitely kneeling with his right knee anyway, leaning forward, and he's talking to the captain, the pilot, and the navigator. And he's probably hovering around because he's about to get down and go into the lower position to do the bomb aiming through the window at the front underneath. Nice though, that, isn't it? Look at the belts have been very well done, I've got to say, really crisp. Look at that. Yeah, we like that. Sorry if you can hear noise in the background, it's just leaves blowing around. We've got a beautiful sunny day, but it's as windy as anything. It's blowing leaves everywhere. Here we've got his separate parachute, and he's got his arms obviously. Nicely moulded though. We've done a nice job of these. All looks very straightforward to actually put it on. And then there's his head. So he's the... Sorry, there we go. He is the bomb aimer. There we go. It's a bit of flashy in the middle. It's a bit unfortunate. You just have to get rid of that. It just filled in a bit, the resin, hasn't it? But no, they're nice. Pretty good. Okay, so that is the navigator, and that just leaves the main top turret gunner. Sorry, just me put that back in its bag. Here we go. Top turret gunner. Here he is. Camera is fighting to get focus. I'm just going to zoom it back. When I have it on maximum zoom, it seems to have more problems for focusing. There we are. Right, here we go. So this is the top turret gunner. There we are. And he's again sitting on his parachute. Very nicely. Yes. Yes, that's really nice. And here's his head, and again we have got a slight filling effect with the oxygen mask. So he's looking to the left as I hold him, looking over to the left. You just need to clean up a bit that oxygen mask. Yeah, it could have been a little bit cleaner, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's so thin, gossamer thin, that's the reason it's filled in, but it means that getting rid of it shouldn't be a problem really. And then here's his arms holding the machine gun. The one that's got the twin drum ammo drums. Right, well that's a good start. Yes, I do like those, and I think they were about, I think they're about £15–20. So, yeah, worth every penny, I think. And you know, it's nice to have the manufacturer's own aftermarket. It's a bit like Zukimura, this, isn't it? Yeah. Having their own aftermarket items that really do go with the kit. So there we have it. So that's your box of tricks, box of figures. Pop those in there, out of the way. Not sure that needs to be stapled really, because it's in quite a big box, an oversized box actually. Whereas the rest of the kit's fine, just about right. If not modest in its size. So I'll pop that in there. Let's have a look at the instructions and get cracking. Now then, what do we expect from this? Well, I think I know what I expect. Let's hope I am going to be, any preconception I might have is going to be proven wrong. My only preconceptions are about the instructions, because they have a nasty habit of usually not having much in the way of colour call-outs. So what do we get? Oh, okay, they're actually giving us some history. It's not very much, it's basically just a couple of paragraphs, quite short ones, but that's okay. That's okay. We don't need to necessarily have War and Peace. Yeah, my only disappointment with the kit, in terms of its conceptualisation, is they haven't done the Battle of Britain version. I thought that really is a bit of an error by the manufacturer, but anyway, you can always get a Battle of Britain. Was it in the Battle of Britain, the H-6? I'm pretty sure it was. Was it later? Perhaps I'm wrong. No, it's my fault. I'm wrong, aren't I? Because the H-6, I think it's post-Battle of Britain version. I think that's what it is. 1941 onwards. Okay, we move on. It's a bit of a shame they didn't do that version. So here you get your colour call-outs. You've got a little bit of history over here. I have to say, for a kit of this size and quality, I think it's a bit light on history, to be fair. I mean, ICM did more than that on a regular kit. Masking seal. Masking seal? Do they mean self-adhesive masks? Have they provided one? Do they mean... We'll open that in a second. I'm not sure if they don't mean template when they say masking seal. And then we get colour references, which is all MIG. It kind of annoys the hell out of me. Another thing I'm not keen on with border. Why just partner up and only quote one manufacturer? Have they done others? They haven't. Okay, so the bad news is, I'm going to skip this, I'm just going to say this once, okay? The bad news is they have made an improvement, but they haven't woken up to the fact that most of us are probably not using MIG ammo paints. I'm not knocking MIG ammo paints, there's nothing wrong with them at all, but you can't just, so many of us are using Tamiya or AK or Attacker or whatever, Mr. Colour, just using MIG, okay, but as a reference, at least we're going to get some colour call-outs, so that is a good thing, so I mustn't be too churlish about it. But it just shows they're not modelers that are writing these instructions. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that is a masking template, so you're going to... It's not ideal, is it? I think you just get a mask set and move on. Right, let's get into it then. So, here we go, and it's got, every time you see MIG mentioned, that obviously is the colour call-out, so that is, in fairness to them, a big step forward. At least we know what they're babbling on about now, and we haven't got a completely huge, high-scale, large-scale, detailed interior bomber with no call-outs like we've had before. So that's great. You've got the it's the front gun ring, rotating mounting, going through the glass, obviously, which looks good. And then you've got masking seal. We've got to get to the bottom of this, haven't we, about the masks? Let me just. Because I think that it does. At this stage, looking at the instructions, we need to know, don't we? We need to know if there are any masks. I don't think there are. I think it's just like ICM do. I think it's just a template. We've got a resealable bag here, I'd like to say. I've got a horrible feeling that opening the bags for this kit could take a lot of time. Because they haven't given us resealable bags anywhere else. Gosh, it's got a heavy adhesive on it, I'll tell you. Jeez. Really thick, it's like a ½ centimetre band almost. Be careful with that, we don't want to spoil these decals. Right, we'll have a look at these and then we'll come back in the instructions in a second. So obviously we've got our, they haven't gone crazy on the photo etch, which is good, I'm pleased about that. And it's mainly seat belts for photo etch, how about that? That's nice. Yeah, we don't photo etch for everything, we just don't. So that's good, that's a sensible amount of photo etch. Then we have got their decals. Now, what have we got here? Do we know who does borders decals? Anybody know that? Because they don't seem to tell us. But I will say this, they look thin and they are like a satin matte, well quite matte really. Yeah, maybe a bit too matte, I don't know, but they are very matte finish. It's got all of the required stencils are there. Your sort of crosses, typical crosses, and then I'm pleased to say that on the other side they have sensibly done the tail insignia, which is important. I'm sorry if it had been missing, that would have been ridiculous, frankly, especially on a big kit like this. But no, those look like a nice set of decals. Whether I'd want decals that size in bands, I'm not sure. I think I might just spray them with masks if I were you. That would be my advice on something this huge. Don't think it'll look that great as a decal. But anyway, they're nice, to be honest. They look really nice. They've got the whiteout swastikas as well as the normal black ones, depending on which version you're gonna, which variant you're going to have. But they look really good. In fairness, they look decent. What they perform like, of course, I don't know, but that's quite good. So obviously we don't get masks then. Slightly disappointing because I think a mass set for this is going to be a bit expensive. What's that going to be? About 30 quid or something? 25 quid? I haven't checked, but I'm guessing because it's going to be quite big, isn't it? Quite a lot of it. I don't think it's going to be the cheapest mass set in the world, that one. But no, there's a nice decal though. They're all very crisp looking, and I don't see any problems with the colours or anything like that. So far so good really. We've definitely seen some improvement. We've got history, which we're not used to getting, and colour callouts, which we're not used to getting, so that's all got to be good. If you can bear with me while I try and get this in for a moment. We will be with you from the trickiest part of the whole thing, this whole review. Am I going to be in? Don't stick to things. It's really got a really heavy adhesive. I've seen such a thick band. There it is, all back to new. That's good. Right then, let's really get cracking now. Let's get motoring. So, back into the instructions. I shan't deviate again. So yeah, we've got this different types of, you've got different options for different types of machine gun here. In the nose, it seems. So you've got, again, it doesn't have any descriptive stuff, which Border always annoys me with. There's no descriptions at all. When you get something that's so big as this, you want to know what machine gun it is, and you want to know what this box is or what this piece of equipment is, and they don't tell you, which kind of always annoys me. So, you know, I'm always going to say that, aren't I? But anyway, moving on, we've got some like satchels and storage areas here. For the side of where the gunner sits, I think it is, and then I think we've got the gunner's seat, I think that is. Again, everything's guesswork because it's not telling us. And then we're going to start building up this area, which has got looks like a gas filter, to be honest. And then you've got your storage area for your drum ammunition. I think that's the flare rack, but again, I'm not sure. Lots of instrumentation here in the cockpit with the various levers, PE levers. Not a big fan of that really, not at this scale either. But anyway, you can see how they sort of appear there. It's quite thick PE, so maybe it'll work okay. Then over here we have got one of the other seats. Which one is that? Is that the good seat? It's just that you'll have to guess for everything. It just annoys me, especially in a kit at this price. You know, if this was Tamiya or Zokimura, you know, they'd be all over it with detail, wouldn't they? You know, even Airfix now, give them the due. You know, that 109, despite one or two issues that mine had, there was nothing wrong with the instructions. I'll tell you, chaps, it was beautiful, and you were left in no doubt what things were. Anyway, you're building up this seat. As I say, I think is the. I'm not sure if that's the. No, I think that is actually the pilot's seat, isn't it? And then it's got the navigator's seat next to it, and bringing in the instrumentation here. And this is basically building up the cockpit area. Again, all MIG call-outs, but at least we are getting some call-outs. So we've got a rough idea what the colour should be, so they're just none at all. Then you've got your radio gear, it looks like there. Is that the radio gear, or is that the heaters? Don't know. See, things like that, you know, you need to be told, don't you? What are they? What are they? You can't forgive them for this. Not on a big, beautiful model that's this detailed. You know. I've said it before. How much would it cost them to get somebody to just translate into English and say German, or English, German, French? That's all they need to do. Wouldn't be that difficult. Anyway, there's your yoke I was talking about. This dog-legged yoke, which has like chain gear. It's like a remote yoke, isn't it, driven by a chain, and then the pilot sits off to the left. We've got some more brackets there, and what's that? It just does annoy me, this. I'm not going to be too brutal on the kit, but the instructions, what are we looking at? We've got no idea what any of this is. It's grievously bad when you're at this price and scale and quality. It's just daft. It's just stupid, you know. Spoiling the ship for a ha'porth of paint for the sake of getting somebody to just put some, you know, captions on it saying what they are. Anyway, masking seal. We've got to make your own, we know. And that's obviously one of the windows, I guess. And then you're building what looks like it's the bomb aimers area, isn't it? I think this is part of the bomb aiming equipment then that we're building up here. And then we've got the fuselage interior. It doesn't say what it is, just says fuselage interior. Clearly it's the drums from the machine gun though. And then you've got some other, what looks like ammunition boxes here at the bottom right as well. Yeah, clearly I'm right. It's clearly drums, isn't it? There's like double feeder drums for the ammo. It goes on a rack, so that's good. And then you've got some of the actual mounting structure that goes. This is for the ring turret, I think, isn't it? Looks like he has a little bit of armour plates. This is one of the side turrets, I think. Yeah, side turret. Has a sliding window, a bit like a B-17. And then you've got your machine gun poking through there, giving him quite good protection, I suppose. They all go into the side of the fuselage. Then we've got various bits that need masking off, little windows and things. You've got what looks like oxygen canister with a breathing mask, ammunition. Those ammunition drums, storage areas going in. I don't know what these are. Come on, guys. Come on. I'm not trying to beat Border up, but this isn't good enough, is it? You know? Why can't they do it properly? You know, you've got to... I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you're spending this kind of money on a model kit that's this well engineered, why can't they finish the job? Yeah? Why do you need to research every single part of the aircraft? Not only to tell you what the parts are, they have a colour booklet which shows it all in colour with fine photographs, like the Mosquito, showing actually here's the radio set, here's the G set, you know, this is the bomb aiming equipment, this is the gun sight, blah 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 blah. It tells you all that in the instructions, and you get supplementary information as well. And these guys can't even give you the basics, and it just frustrates me when you've got such nicely moulded plastic. We haven't got a clue what they are. Do you have to spend 6 months researching this at various museums and asking questions from museum creators? Every single modeller? That is ridiculous. Sorry, but it ain't good enough. Anyway, they will lose a point for that because it's amazing they haven't learned this lesson now. It's not really forgivable. Anyway, we've got the tail wheel here coming in. More ammunition for the rear gun, I think that is. And then you've got your bulkheads there with spars for the wings, it looks like. And then you've got the forward bulkhead with the sort of communication door that goes back into the fuselage. And you've got this area that was like padded, which I think is where the bomb aimer kneels on it, doesn't he, I think. Then you're building up your turret ring support assembly for the top turret gunner. And then, oops, come back a bit. And then over here, yeah, we're going to just bring that side in, obviously. Building up your tail wheel there, which looks very nice. It looks like it can be steerable by the look of it. Multi-positionable anyway. Yeah, things like that, okay, you know. When you've got some of these bits of equipment that you could have no idea what they are, you know. Anyway, bringing in then the right sort of starboard side of the fuselage in onto the interior, and then doing the same over on the port side, bringing it in. And over here we have got I was going to say, is that a radar set? I don't know what it is, you know. Some equipment coming in here. Various levers. I think this is where the bomb aimer controls the bombs, isn't it? Or is that for the pilot? Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, no, there's too many of them. It must be for the pilot then. Yeah, because the pilot seat then comes in here. I'm right. Bringing the pilot seat in. It's quite comfy, doesn't it? Well, relatively. I'm sure it has a cushion on it or something, but he sits on his parachute, doesn't it? That comes in along with your yoke, and then over here you've got, what is that? Is got the mechanism for what is this? Is this the mechanism that operates the bomb bays? I think it might be, but I'm not sure because it doesn't tell us anything. Then you're building up your little turret ring, gunner's ring, some decals here, some instrumentation of some description, some framework for the top gunner's ring, and there it comes and goes into position there. Then you've got some clear parts here where you've got the sort of plexiglass shroud, aerodynamic shroud over the gunner, which obviously is a window. And then you've got this, they've done this nicely, they've got this top decking as a separate piece down a natural panel line, so you're not going to have a horrible seam anywhere. Then you've got these things which we didn't know what they were, going in here. What is that? Oh, hang on a second, wait a second. Now this is going to make a few of you chuckle like me. Did you spot that? They suddenly, out of nowhere, they've suddenly produced some detail. Look at this. Ready? Suddenly in red it started telling us stuff. Look, the signal flare pouch, I was right about flares, navigator's instrument panel. Oh whoa. So where's this detail been in the instructions thus far then? Have I missed something here? Let me just check out if I missed something. I don't mind eating humble pie. No, there's no pie to be eaten. Why have you just popped up with a bit of detail on 2 items? And on the rest there's nothing. You see what I mean? It's inconsistent. It's so frustrating. What's wrong with them? Anyway, let's zoom in. I'm sure the plastic will be beautiful. I think I can predict the outcome of this already, you know. It's going pretty much what I expected. It just frustrates me that they cannot get it. How can you know, who's made a decision to label that but not label anything else? Yeah? So nothing else gets labelled. None of this is labelled. Now back to nothing again. Very strange. It does look nice though, doesn't it? I'm sure the plastic will be great. I am confident. So here we go, building up the front of the glass house obviously, and the front gunner's position with all these drums and ammo. And this is when we get into a lot of masking, of course. Filling in the glass house with all those pieces of glass. Masking seal. Oh, you've got a little window here that you can have open. That's quite interesting. That's good. And then lots and lots of masking going on. Then we've got the vertical stabilisers and the tail and the rudder. You've got the tail cone here. And then you've got the tail gunner's position, the gun going in. I think it's a remote gun, isn't it? Yes, I think it's sort of like a remote control gun, or it's... Sorry, it's not remote control. He operates it from a position above. He's got an observation deck, hasn't he, actually above the gun itself. I think it's like a mechanical thing operated by levers, basically. But again, doesn't tell you that, you know, there's nothing to tell you anything. It's almost like, I don't know what it is with these guys. It's almost like that somebody else came in when they were writing this up and doing all the graphic design, and perhaps somebody took a day's holiday and some guy came in and was just working one afternoon and said, oh, I need to put what this is, it's the flare rack, you know. And then he went off again and did something else or didn't come back, you know. I find it unfathomable, the inconsistency and the lack of attention to detail. So I just hope it builds better than the instructions look. Not trying to be negative, but they just leave it as an open goal every time, don't they? Right, here you've got your machine gun going through. This is the lower one, isn't it? The lower gondola underneath. Machine gun that goes through the glass here, and a bit of masking, obviously. Got to be careful around this clear parts. I'd be using PVA glue if I were you. Masking seal, yeah, a lot of glass work, a lot of masking to be done. Loads and loads of windows here. Can you see that? That's a lot of windows. How many have you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, is it? 9 windows per side. Wow. And then you've got the front and rear facing gondola guns. And now we're going to start looking at the engines. And assembly steps, engines. Well, I didn't bother to do that before, but okay. So we got obviously radiator intakes, and you got the the cooling ring, isn't it? I think for the coolant. Daimler-Benz engines, I think, on these, aren't they? And building up your engines, obviously, and putting them in the bearers. They look fairly straightforward. They don't look overly detailed, but I won't judge that till I see the plastic. And then you get your radiators, some fine decals going in there. Again, there's no description. You know, they haven't done what Airfix did. If you look at the components here, they haven't bothered to do what Airfix and the other guys like Tamiya and Zokimura do, telling you what the components are, which was really good. This is why I got myself in knots over that Airfix 109, because I thought they did something so brilliantly in it, and that was one of the brilliant things that they went to. Fantastic detail, exactly what I was looking for, really. Telling you this is the supercharger and this is the injection system and blah 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 blah. That's what you want. You don't just want something like this, a big project, and then you've got no idea what the parts are. But anyway, so we're bringing in our cowlings here. Bringing in the cowlings either side of the engine. Lower cowling coming in there, coming at the radiator. Exhausts, be interested to see what they're like. And then bringing all the cowlings in, then you're going to start building up your gear. Big beefy gear on the He.111. And then we've got what looks like some ailerons. Oh, it's doing it again. Assembly set, wing assembly. Okay, yeah, right. Kind of obvious, really. They're telling you the obvious stuff, not telling you all the complicated stuff. And then you've got, you're going to have some, it looks like you've got like a mounting point, pivot point for control rods, if you like, for the ailerons and the flaps. You've got leading edge here with the lights in it. So you've got these like a box section spar that the actual nacelle's going to, or becomes the nacelle, I should say. Yeah, that's a little bit complex, isn't it, the way they've done that? But I think I know what it's trying to say. I don't like these weird arrows. I'm not sure I like this style. Not the clearest, is it? At least it has got an arrow, though. It's not like kinetic. It's an arrow points towards something and never actually shows you where it's supposed to, what the destination is, you know. Well, no, you're bringing down your flap, putting your flaps. You get your wing spars. Looks like they're built into the wing, doesn't it? Part of the moulding, I think. Bringing the wings together. Bringing in your gear. And then you've got your... What's that? What does that mean? What does that mean? An eye. Does that mean pay attention? I think it means this eyeball here. Another one here, look. Pay attention to this, I think. I think it means be careful of the angles. And then you got your leading edge. Were they slats? I don't think they were slats, were they? Or were they? It's not obvious. And then you're going to do the whole same thing on the other side, bringing in your engine nacelle into this sort of spar box section. Again, bringing in your radiator intake, building up your wing here, and again, same on this side. Pulling all the flaps and the wing ailerons together. And then we've got bringing in all the nice gear, which looks quite good. Looks like we've got weight on wheels. It's got a flat spot on it. That's cool. Yeah, in fact, that's what it's telling you to be careful of, I think. And then you've got some, again, slightly busy. I mean, when you've got... Airfix will tell you this. When you've got... Sorry, the instructions from board, they do leave a great deal to be desired. Airfix have already mastered this years ago. When there's a bit of detail and some information they try to impart, they don't then create an image in the background of the rest of the wing with very heavy panel line detail and all that, which is irrelevant to what's actually being shown. If Airfix or any of the other guys, ICM, they wouldn't show it like that. They'd sort of emphasise it. These guys have got such heavy print and heavy graphic work that it's actually quite hard to see what the arrows are doing and where it should be going, because they've gone and They haven't emphasised it. They've gone too heavy with the graphics. See what I mean? Have a closer look. It doesn't need to show all the panel lines in that image, does it? It doesn't need all that detail. That could have been a lot simpler. A lot simpler. Just pointless, really, showing that detail. Then over here we've got the spinner and the propellers coming together, which you know, give the aircraft quite a lot of presence on a 111, don't they? Popping those on there, making sure to tell you that it should be able to spin in either direction. Don't use any glue, fair enough. And then we've got a torpedo, really. Torpedo version, look at that, big mighty torpedo that is. And then you've got your bombs, I think the 500 kilo bombs, aren't they? And then the smaller ones, which I think are 300, 350. And then you're building up your bomb racks. Going to bring those all together then and build this whole weapons area. You've got an option here for having twin torpedoes, look at that. That's cool. I like that. You've got two big bombs there, and then you've got the vertical bomb racks here. It says, now again, suddenly out of the blue, it's giving you the detail. I've got so used to not seeing it. Yes, an LT-F5B torpedo, 1,000 kilo bomb, and then over here we've got 250 kilo bomb. It's so random. 1 minute they don't do it, that's only like the second or third time they've popped up with any proper data, isn't it? It's only the second page. And then it goes back to not telling you anything about anything. So then you get your bomb racks. They drop out vertically, don't they, in the Heikel? Tail first, in fact. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, tail first. And then you've got these sort of inner flaps, and then the bomb flaps doors itself over here. And this rather strange sign means it's an alternative, I think, either of the torpedoes or the bombs. Huh, external is that? It seems to be external bombs as well, or is that instead of? Not clear. It's not clear enough, is it? I'm sorry, it just isn't clear enough what you're supposed to be. Then you've got the gondola I mentioned underneath of the gun bays, front and rear. You've got your tail cone going on here, and then bringing in your rudders and your horizontal stabilisers with the elevators. Rig antenna wire, yeah, obviously that's not provided, you've got to do that yourself as well. And then we get to the colour markings with ammo MIG. Okay, so yeah, so the graphics are really good, aren't they? There's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely great. We've got the Afghan one. We've got the one in Hungary. So it goes 41 to 44 there, big jump actually. And then Sicily in 41, and Italy in 1942. Yeah, and it's all very nice. Okay, so I've got to be honest, I think that it's improved a little bit over some of the grossly negligent examples of instructions from the past. There is some improvement, but as you can see, it's nowhere near what it should be, especially on a kit of this size and price and detail. It's just not up to the job, is it? And you're going to find yourself building this with constant questions in your mind, and constantly checking reference photos and researching, because they can't be bothered to do it just once. That would save every modeller in the world having to do it themselves. Anyway, let's have a look at the plastic. I don't want to beat them up too much. It's kind of what I was expecting, let's be honest. Let's have a look at the plastic, because I've got a feeling that will put me in a better mood. Here we go. Again, this is an inconsistency. Why have they put this in a box when it's in a bag as well? You know? Right, I'm going to have to... This is going to take time. Bear with me, because I'm going to have to open the bags. And I haven't got my... Oh, we've got a problem. I haven't got my knife with me. That's a bit of a problem. So I might even have to duck out, because I can't do it without it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just zoom you in on this and ask you for your patience. And I don't want to edit this out, because it will make a mess of the video in other ways. So please bear with me just a moment or two. Yeah. Why they didn't put it in resealable bags. Even ICM can get that right, can't they? Yeah. No problem. Sorry about that, folks. Unexpected diversion. The reason being, because it came in such a big meaty box, that it was necessary for me to use my trusty knife. To use my trusty knife to open the box, because it needed a fair bit of attacking, you know what I mean? So bear with me, because every one of these is going to have to be opened. Okay. Pretty sure Stewart will build this, because he's a real keen enthusiast of these type of subjects. So let's have a look at this one first. I'll move that now. Move that one first. And here we go. Yeah, this is going to go the way I thought it's going to go. I think the plastic's going to be really nice, yeah. Which would be good, because I don't want to be grumpy and negative about everything. Why oh why can't they get the simplest thing right though? Come on. Let's have a look then. So this is sprue S. And I've got some of the detail here for the turret rings. Look at this chains. Can you see that? That's chain. Need to zoom you right in for this one, I think. Can you see that? Oh, wow, I like that. Oh yeah, that looks very realistic. That's very cool. Very nicely rendered. And you've got the various guns over here for the front gun emplacement in the nose, where you have that ring turret. And then over here we've got some of these control areas where you've got the levers that will be made via the photo etch. Yeah, very nice. Okay, that's good. So, you know, I'm going to try not to dwell on this too much. I'm very conscious that there's a lot of plastic here, so please bear with me. I'm trying not to drag my feet. But the instructions, I think, for anybody thinking about buying the kit, it is buyer beware, and you need to be understanding what you're getting yourself into. Colour call-outs after a fashion, where they're not very clear about, you know, giving you one manufacturer, so that requires some translation. So creating work for the modeller again. And then so many areas where it just was so vague. I just find it frustrating. Okay. Oops. Don't worry, Stuart, I'll reseal these for you, he says. As long as I've got some, yeah, as long as I've got a bit of leeway. But the plastic looks really nice. I mean, look at these, the mouldings are lovely, aren't they, from Border, in fairness. Give them credit where it is due, and this is where they get it. So you've got a couple of what looks like superchargers there. Is it supercharger? Yeah, it's a supercharger here, isn't it? There. Oh, those nice. And again, everything's so crisp and there's no flash, is there? That's really nice. Look at the oxygen trunking for the oxygen machine. That's cool. Lots of lovely, lovely plastic here. Yeah, that's nice. This is your flare that we worked out then, was the flare rack. Yeah, that's nice. Nothing wrong with that. Just a bit baffling that they put it in a box for no apparent reason. It just feels like a kit. I don't just mean this particular one, but some of the border kits just feel like they're designed by a committee of Chinese people, don't they? You know, who can't either can't make their minds up or don't talk to each other. That's the way it seems to me. Strange. There's no consistency. It's like there's no team leader managing with the overall ethos or the sort of overall design. Right, that one's done, so I'll put that one back in the box. Yeah. Oops. There we go. Next one. This looks like it might be some of the clear parts. Let's have a look at these. Make or break them now. Remember, in the Lancaster, the clear parts were not good, frankly. I thought they were poor, what I saw of them. So let's hope this is better. Okay. Right, let's have a look then. Fingers crossed, everybody. Keep an open mind. think some of the more recent kits have been a bit better, haven't they? I could take my hat off to Stewart. He's very brave, putting his money down when it's this much on a kit like this, because you're never quite sure what you're going to get with these guys. I have to tell you, no, I'm not impressed. Oh dear. Not quite what I was expecting. I was hoping they were going to be fine, but they are really quite poor. There's a whole chunk of distortion here. I hope the camera will catch this. Okay, now we've seen from ICM some of their astonishing ultra clarity on parts like this. But on this, first of all, there's a bit of scuffing. Can you see that? Right here. There's actually physical scuffing, but quite apart from the scuffing, the actual the standard of the sort of, it's not great, it's not nice. I sort of need to put this behind perhaps so you can see. Trouble is it's going to focus on the background, unfortunately. Let's try this. This has got a lot of very, very blotchy sort of quality to the plastic. It's almost like it's varying in thickness. It's quite hard for me to show you. It's not the best clear parts I've ever seen at all. How can I find a way to show you this? Because I don't think this is, with the background I've got, it's not really great. It's very, very gloopy looking and huge amounts of distortion in it, really. I think you'd have to be Stevie Wonder to think this is really, you know, to think it's 2026. Can we see it there? It's here. Really nasty here. So I can hold it really still and just move it. Can you see the standard of it is not great. I was expecting better. It's not so bad on the flatter areas, you know, to be fair. It's a bit more, we've seen this on other kits like Armour, and the Meteor from Reveller wasn't that impressed with that, was I really? I mean, I know Airfix nailed it with their 109, the big 109, but then again it wasn't perhaps the most challenging technically because it's quite flat. Most of the glass anyway was flattish, wasn't it? But this has got, it's actually better. This part here from the gondola, still not that great, but it's definitely better, this one. This is better than these two are. I just don't think I'm going to be able to. You're going to have to take my word for it. Can I just get it on the edge like this? I must be able to show you. Can I get it to focus? And you should be able to. Yes, now I think you're starting to see. That makes it a little bit easier to take in on the camera. That's not ICM standard, is it? Do you know what I mean? See there? It's not nice. I'm sorry, it isn't. And yet over here, it's lovely. This is fine. So some of it's fine, but they're not good at these complex curves. These parts seem absolutely, yeah. Well, again, I'm being generous, aren't I? Hang on a minute. Just see that. Can you see what I'm talking about? It's not great, is it? Not for a kit at this price. I think that's disappointing. I think it's more Lancaster again, isn't it? I'll put that one away. Oh, please, I hope the other sprue isn't as bad as that. Now this is the really critical one. I mean, that's obviously it's a tricky thing to mould, but a couple of weeks ago I showed you the ICM, the big Sky Crane helicopter, with those bulging, like bullseye windows in the side. Oh, they were perfect. Absolutely fantastic. You know, I'm not trying to big up ICM, it's just the truth, isn't it? They're just really good at that. And Border aren't. This is not their strong point. I'm sure the grey plastic's going to be great, but I'm afraid the trouble is on a model like this, a plane like this, there's a lot of glass house and it's going to show up. Do you know what? This is a lot better, thank God. Thank God it could be worse, could it? It's still not. Whenever they get a really deep curve, a dome effect, they really seem to be struggling. So have a look on this where the cover is for the window over the gunner's position on the top. You'll probably see it again. Can you see the distortion? Yeah, not nice, is it really? But these other parts seem a lot better. Not perfect, still not ICM standard, but better. Just a lot of distortion there. If I got out those ICM parts again, it would look like crystal. But it is better. It's better there. It's when they get into a real curvature that seem to be struggling. How's that? Yeah, that's not very special either. The bottom one here. Can you see what I mean? It does look like something from about 1990. I'm not being funny. Look at it. Oh, come on. Have they not learned from the Lancaster? It's just not a strong point, is it? I mean, I said we have had it. It is tricky on some of these. There was a gentleman, he sent me a message last week about this very subject when I was grumbling about the Armour 262, and I was saying again that wasn't as bad as this, definitely. But he was saying it was to do with the way the electro. I can't exactly remember his exact words now, but it was the electro burning of the tool. He said, and these small windows, well, they are better, but they're just not the standard we've seen from people like ICM or Tamiya, are they? I think they've got a way to go, Border, if I'm being brutally honest. Now, I didn't expect that. I hadn't really thought about it, I suppose, really. The fact that it's got a lot of glass house with a lot of heavy curvatures. These are okay. I mean, they're acceptable. But, you know, when you do this test and you put something like that behind it, it really does show. Any distortion comes clear. And that's not too bad. That's the best of the... But then that's the least challenging as well, you know, the clear parts. So I've got to say, it's probably going to lose a whole point for the clear parts because I think they're pretty rubbish, really. I really do. And it's not a cheap kit, so you can't give it a free pass for that, I'm afraid. I feel a bit sorry for Stewart because, you know, every right to expect that to be the very highest standard, and it's not there, is it? Really? You know, Airfix are doing better than that. ICM are certainly doing better. Okay. Can only get better. I'm sure the rest is going to improve now. Last big box. I'm sure the grey plastic will be fine. That's my expectation. Here we go. Bear with me a second when I get this cut. Why can't they provide some, you know... They've obviously got resealable bags, otherwise they wouldn't have done it on the decals. So why they can't have resealable bags on everything else, I don't know. Tends to indicate it's come from a different supplier, doesn't it? And as expected, this is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, it's a game of three halves, or 3/3 I should say. We've got slightly iffy instructions, fairly poor clear parts, but the grey plastic, a bit like the Meteor from Revell, the grey plastic is absolutely stunning. Look at that radiator. That's really nice, actually. Really, really nice. Yeah. And the propeller blades as well. I've just realised actually this is a twin sprue, so there's two the same here. So we only need to look at this one, but look at the detail on it. And we've got very nice, well, they're sort of semi-open exhausts, aren't they? Yeah. They haven't actually... I was going to say they haven't slide moulded it. They have actually slide moulded it, but they've kind of done the wrong end. This reminds me of the Airfix thing with the exhausts. Again, it's like they've slide moulded the wrong end, and we've not ended up with a hollow exhaust. You see what I mean? That's a little bit odd. Again, here. Yeah, that could have been better, but those wheels are beautiful. Look at those. Those are nice. Weight on wheels. Some real crisp detail there. the crispness of border is as good as anybody, actually. So that, in that respect, they've done a fine job. They really have. And you've got some nice riveting detail on those cowlings. Obviously you've got engine bearers here. Yeah, it's very nice. So you got one of the other propeller blades is a little bit careful. Oh, Peter, don't do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I can feel that's going to go if I push that anymore. We don't want any more of that, do we? Yes. Anyway, yes, very nice in some areas. Oh, sorry, I didn't show you the spinner. That was a bit remiss of me. Sorry. Prop spinners over here. I was a bit too eager to get away from that. A couple of things I have missed. So the prop spinners. Here. That's nice. And then over here you've got the cylinder heads. Or cam covers, I should say. That's nice. Yeah, it's nice, and the exhausts are good as well over here. Yeah, just a bit disappointed that they didn't do more with the exhaust. I thought that, you know, the whole point of having slide moulding is to give you things like hollow gun muzzles and hollow exhaust pipes. Anyway, that is a very nice sprue. I'm not too grumpy about it. So oh, I see. That's the same sprue, but we don't need to unpack that one because it's the same. So that's one less, one less bag for me to potentially damage, one less to reseal. Okay. So far, then, it's a bit mixed, isn't it? I was expecting better. I didn't expect the clear parts to be that ropey, if I'm honest. I was talking to, I'm sorry I don't know his name, the gentleman that runs the model shed, who did the Lancaster. He won the gold for it at Telford, didn't he? And I spoke to him, and I said the board Lancaster 32nd scale. And sorry, that'd be fun. Sorry, wing nut wings. I'm getting them mixed up, aren't I? I'm mixing up my borders and my wing nut wings here. Obviously, same thing. I'm just forgetting the history. So border took over the moulds, didn't they? But anyway, I spoke to him about it, and I said, your clear parts look really nice. He said, yeah, those are not the ones from the kit, though. You got some aftermarket, apparently. Forgive me, because I don't know who they were. Can't remember. Did he say? Can't remember. But he said, no, the ones in the kit were absolute crap. So I'm afraid nothing's really improved in that respect. Right, let us get some of the bigger sprues over here. I'm going to, if you just give me a moment, because I have got a bit of an organisational nightmare. There's so much plastic to go at. Oh, look at this, it's crazy. There's a lot to get in here. Lots of stuff. Does that go flat? Show how this works now. Yeah, I think that's because I'm not doing it right. I won't repack this on camera because I think I'll be here all day. Right, anyway, we'll do that later, definitely. So, let's have a look at the, we're going to get to the sort of money shot now, you know what I mean? There's trouble saying things like that, but you know what I'm talking about. Things like the canning effect on the wing. So why don't we take a look at those now? Because we need cheering up, I think. We need to see something positive after the two sprues that have left me a bit disenchanted, you know. People say we live in a golden age of models, and there's a lot of truth in that. But the problem is, when you've got market leaders at clear parts like ICM or Tango, and then you get something like we just saw there, it's not really up to the mark, I'm afraid. You see, there are some people, I'll just say this, there are some people who will tell you that this is a bit of a gimmick. I'm kind of on the fence on this, really, I'm not sure. But they'll say that it's a bit of a gimmick, this, and it's a bit overdone. And I was a bit worried when I saw the, so I didn't see any reviews, but I did see some photographs of it. And I did wonder whether they haven't just gone a little bit OTT here. I mean, it's, does a Heinkel 111 really show that much stress on the skin? I don't know. I don't know. Only those of you that have seen one up close will be able to know that. And I don't think I have. Just trying to rattle my brains when I've seen one. Is there one at Duxford? I can't remember. Don't think so. There's one at Hendon. There's one at Hendon, I think, isn't there? I think there may have been. Anyway, I'm not an expert, so I'll keep my gob shut really, do you know what I mean? But it does look a little bit over. I suppose there's a fine line. If they didn't do it any more subtly, it'll almost look like it's a fault. So they've sort of made it look very deliberate on purpose. I do like the way they've got this very beefy sprue though. Not like the Airfix disaster that we had, obviously, with the floppy sprues. I mean, look at that. That's really meaty. Solid, that is. Like, made of girders rather than plastic sprue. Really is well attached. Completely solid. Fantastic. And then, yes, you have indeed got the wing spars actually moulded in. Yeah, I quite like it. I say I just can't quite make my mind up. I don't know. You guys decide amongst yourselves. You shout out in the comments and in the chat whether you think that's maybe a bit much. Maybe when... I think the answer probably is simple as this really. If you think it's a bit too much, just go to town with your primer and you maybe have a couple of coats of paint and it'll tone it down a bit, you know. And if you think it's fine, then just go easy with your paints. But it is nice, you know. And the moulding is very crisp and accurate. Panel lines are nice. Are they too big, those rivets? No, I think they're okay. I think they're okay. Nice sprue, in fairness. So that's the top of the wing. I'm right on. Yeah, top of the wing. So that's that one, which we will pop back in there for resealing. Hopefully. Then we have got the bottom of the wing, and yet more of this canning effect. You haven't given us much to go out here, Stuart. I haven't been as generous with the bag, I might have a problem here. It's been a bit mean. Come on, you can do it. Don't tear, don't tear, don't tear. See, I can't just go slashing away and it's somebody else's property. I've got to try and get it back in its... Good job I've got a sharp knife here. I've got to try and get it back in the bag if I can. Does it come out now? Yes. I feel, looking at this, see what you think, I feel this is kind of works better underneath. Maybe because of the way the panels are, perhaps they seem a little smaller and more divided up, and doesn't look quite as extreme perhaps to me. I think it's a bit of an acquired taste, this, isn't it? I think on the Lancaster it kind of made more sense, but I'm just not sure on a smaller bomber like this whether it really has that much distressing in its skin. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? Change back a bit. It's nice. I mean, they've moulded it well, no question about that. And again, a really meaty sprue. Look at this. It's got all the sort of dihedral built into it correctly. I presume correctly, but it's certainly intentional. And the sprue attachment points are not too big. I think they've done that quite well. Yeah, I'm quite liking this. There's no danger of this going the route of some of these kits like the Meng triplane or the... I hate to mention it again, but the Airfix 109, where they're very floppy sprues and then they get damaged and parts fall off and all sorts. That's really well done. Solid, you know. Look at that, solid. I quite like it. Very nice. Right, we move on. We'll be here all night. Okay. The bombs. These look good actually. From this distance they look great. feel really bad sometimes. People like Stewart and Neale and Chris and many others of you, loan me kits to some expensive kits, and I always feel I diss them. It's not deliberate, honestly. You just got to be honest, though, haven't you? I mean, Neale, he loaned me the Meteor, wasn't it? Yeah, and that was kind of... I love the plastic, apart from the clear parts. But I've got to say, in all fairness to Revell, I thought their clear parts on the Meteor, which I was critical of, I think they were better than this, to be honest. I just don't think it's a strong point for Border. I think they need to really get their act together and maybe even go somewhere else for the clear parts. Anyway, the bombs, look at that. Those are nice. Nothing wrong with them. Look at that. Yeah, the little sway braces here as well. Yeah, that's the two external ones that go underneath, isn't it? £1,000, wasn't it? Oh, sorry, 1,000 kilo it'd be, wouldn't it? Complete with the tail. Yeah, I like that. Very nice, nothing wrong with that one. Cool. There you go. Okay. Trying to zoom through these as best we can. It's always going to be in one of those long reviews, I'm afraid, This is why I didn't sit around giving you any long potted histories about the He.111 because I would be here all night. It'd be 3 hours job. What have we got here? So this is that very area underneath the fuselage for the mounting of those either torpedo or the bombs we've just shown you. And that's nice. It's beautifully moulded, that. That's even got some canning effect, some distressing effect. Can you see that? That's got it as well. Yeah, I love that. That's nice. Very nice moulding indeed. Yes, that's superb. Nothing wrong with that one either. So we've had a couple of really good sprues there, which is nice. I think I'm going to jump to the fuselage now because that's another critical one, isn't it? It's going to be very obvious. Needs to be good. They need to really nail it. So let's go there now. Look at this, it's huge! It's massive! Again, many thanks to Stewart. I can't thank him enough for letting us see this. I know he doesn't take it personally if I have a moan. He knows I'm not a big fan of Border anyway, but they just don't seem to be learning. That's the thing that's frustrating me. You see Airfix evolving, you see ICM evolve, Tamiya. These guys are just doing what they do well, but they're not really evolving at the same rate as other people, I don't think. But this is nice. This is very nice. Look at this. Yeah, this I like. Now somehow I feel that works better on this fuselage now. Well, look at this. Absolutely amazing, the riveting, you feel the rivets there, beautiful panel detail, and then you've got this panel distressed canning effect. That seems to work really nicely. Some areas this is just absolutely sublime, and in other areas they made a real mess of it. It's the lack of consistency is what really annoys me. I just wish they'd focus on the things you're not good at. That's what anybody should do in life, Work on the things you're not good at, like me with my painting of my figures. I'm working on it, working on it. And my focus. Camera focus. That's beautiful. I really like that sprue. That is a really meaty, top notch, that fuselage. And let me just find the bit that has the top, those sections at the top of the fuselage. Here. I think that should be the next one we look at. Okay. The top and bottom. Let me put that back away. So, when they're good, they're very, very good, and when they're bad, they're horrid. Oh, you just think that after that Border Lancaster they would have really focused more on clear parts and not come out with what they did. It's a bit surprising to me. Right, let's get this one. How are we doing for time? I'm just going to check the time. Oh gosh, it's okay, no problem. It's not as late as I thought it was. I thought I'd been here for about 2 hours. Feels like it. In a way, it's a good thing. Well, is it a good thing? If I'd have done the clear parts last, it would have been one of those horrible reviews, a bit like with the FX109, where everything's going swimmingly, and then you come up to the, you know, the elephant in the room suddenly appears. It's like, oh no. I hate that, to be honest. Now, here we go. Oh, this is good. This is very good. So this, you've got the sections here. For this is the top. Sorry, the underneath of the fuselage, the lower fuselage section. Again, quite a lot of canning effect. Is it overdone? I don't know. It's certainly noticeable. I think you just got to be careful when you've got these surfaces not to do things that emphasise it even more. Now, I think gloss finishes make it worse, if you know what I mean. Make it emphasise more. And maybe matting it down a bit perhaps just kills it down a bit, which is probably what you want. Over here you've got the same, but this is the top section now. So this is the panel that avoids any seam line on the top of the fuselage. Which is great, I like that. Look at these huge ailerons, look at the size of them. Massive. They're really big, aren't they? Look at that. And then you've got this area where you've got the padding, where the bomb aimer and the gunner, they kneel down in the fuselage, in the nose section to take aim. And we've got the seats here with studs in them. See that? That's nice. That's a nice sprue, actually. And this is the pilot's seat here, look. Huh. I hope they didn't have sciatica, because I don't think it's a very good position for that, is it? No. You've got your little instrument panels here. Yeah, it's very nice. And then just lots and lots of things, of course, that we don't know what they are, because they couldn't be bothered to tell you in the instructions and name anything. You know. Oh, hang on, let me just show you one thing I've missed. Something I've missed here. Something I've missed. Check this out very closely. It's like a drive gear. The pulley and chain. Can you see it? Moulded in. That's really good. I suspect you're seeing that better than I am on the lens there. But I just spotted it in the last minute. Yeah, I was going to say, because I always go on and moan on about, you know, I like kits that have got this sort of immersive experience, and I know I've said to ICM a few times that that's one area, detail information, but they definitely need to probably work on it, but, you know, you could argue that the big helicopter, sky crane, you know, that's similar to this in that respect, because it's a 130 quid kit. And they've got very little details, but at least they're getting the quality of everything right in terms of plastic. There's no, you know, you don't have the sort of questionable clear parts that we've got here. And this is why I say, you know, people say, oh, it's a golden age of model making and model production. It is in some respects. It's more golden for some than it is for others, I think. I think the technology exists that these manufacturers could do it better than they are doing. And it's become an Achilles heel for a lot of manufacturers. And I was pleased to see Airfix had improved in that area. Here we go again. So, okay, we've got the elevators here at the back, and some nice detail again. We've got the canning effect. Yeah, that's cool, isn't it? Complete with the trim tabs there. That's a very fine bit of moulding, and those trim tabs are beautifully done, actually. Can you see the serration at the back edge? It's almost like a vortex generator on the back edge of the trim tab. If you can see that. That's very nice. And then you got these big spars and then some of the mountings for the nacelle for the engine, for the outer for the nacelle for the engine. That's a nice, yeah, that's nicely moulded. Yeah, in some areas they're just fantastic, aren't they? You know, no question. But they just seem unwilling to change border. I've got a bit of a beef on that. Torpedoes. It's a rather strange shape of bag. Well, maybe not. No, it's a strange shape of sprue. I'm going to have some fun trying to get these to reseal. I know I am. Don't forget, while I'm busy here, don't forget memberships, folks. You want to be a member, and you can get yourself some fantastic goodies. Trust me, you will be rewarded if you become a member, and if you go for the intermediate, flight lieutenant, or the squadron leader, the premium level. You get some nice model goodies before very long. 3-month subscription as a member, and you'll start to get some meaningful goodies coming through. I think you'll be very, very pleased with it. Now look at this. Torpedoes. Look at the size of these things. They're huge. Oh, proper big torpedoes too. Complete with sway braces, etc. Lovely detail there though. You know, look at the little access arches and things there. Fantastic detail. Beautiful. Nothing not to like here. Absolutely gorgeous, that. Very nice. I'm just already thinking in my mind where this is going in terms of a score. I think I've got a good idea where it is going. It's not going to be as high as I had expected, if I'm honest. It's very unfortunate. When Stewart said he was ordering this, and I said, "Oh, are you sure about this?" This is a bit last year, wasn't it? I said, "Are you sure about this?" Can you imagine getting an Icon 111 with all this detail inside, and they don't tell you what the colours are? Well, they did do that, so give them some credit for that. So they have improved, you know. Okay, we've got 2 twin sprues here that are the same, so we just look at one of them, and it's the blades. Some lovely blades, aren't they? I like the way they do the blades, actually. Although they've got one's broken off here again. Look, can you see that? Wasn't me, Gov. That's just come out of the bag like that. Is the other one the same? Yeah, the other one's the same. Look, on the other sprue as well. That one's even worse. It's at an angle. No. Put that down. So these have got the different propeller and the more rounded propeller. Slightly different version. And then you get your bomb racks here. So here's your bombs. Those are nice. Nothing wrong with them. Stellar. And then you've got your ammo drums here. That's nice. Good detail there. Look at that. A little bit of slide moulding has gone on there. Yeah. And then you got your engine, front of the engine, and your boss for your spinner, for your propeller rather than your spinner. Very fine detail, very nicely finessed. Beautiful. Yeah, there's nothing wrong there. Nothing wrong at all. A little oxygen bottle. Absolutely stunning. Yeah, I like that. I like those prop blades as well. They're nice. Cool. Another good sprue. I think we're safe now. I think they're all going to be good sprues now to the end. No more moaning. I haven't moaned about anything that's good, I promise. Right. Piling up with bits of plastic now, that's cut off. Okay, so we're nearly getting to the end. We've got another 4 bags, I think, to go at. Not far to go now, folks. Here we go. Right, this is where we've got the flaps and the leading edge, well, leading edge, I was going to say slats, but they're not, are they? Just to get one great big leading edge. And again, this is to avoid a join line, isn't it? That's what we're doing here. So that's good design by Border, you know, avoiding silly seams, seam lines. And look at these big flaps, look at those. Yeah, meaty, isn't it? Yeah, that's nice. Nothing wrong with that. Beautiful sprue. Perfect mold. I like the precision, you know, they've gone for quite small attachment points, which I like. That's good. And there's no flash or any junk like that, and horrible nonsense on it. No clean-ups needed. But the only flash we've seen in this kit was on the figures where the oxygen mask was, wasn't it? Right, last of the big sprues. Well, that was two. There's got a lot on it though, this one. Okay. And finally we have got our rudder and our vertical tail. And this is beautiful. Look at that. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And you've got the underside with the bomb rack option where you have the bomb bay doors. And again, that's very precisely moulded. Now look at this. Here's something in Border's favour, you know, because I've been giving him a bit of a beating, but let me just say something that I do like that others could learn from. Look at the precision of the holes. These are actual holes they've got moulded here. And they've, you know, we get we get Tamiya and ICM and Airfix and many others that say, oh yeah, what was it? Drill a, what was it? 0.5 millimetre hole I was moaning about a few weeks ago on the Mosquito. I was thinking, why have I got to drill all these holes? You can mould those, and they were not. I could see no reason they couldn't have moulded it on the parts in question. So that shows you can do it. That's really impressive. Those are beautiful. All those holes they've moulded in, yeah. All the manufacturers would have you drilling all them out, and you get it on things like Spitfire, don't you? On the frame behind the bulkhead frame. What do you call it? Like spacer rib. There's a proper name for it. I can't think what it's called. You know what I'm talking about. Behind the pilot, you got to drill them all out. You know, it's like, well, these guys can do this very tiny holes. Those are about 1 millimetre. And they're beautifully crisp, those. Really sharp. Let me show you again. On this side. Can you see what I'm driving at here? It's like, well, why can't we expect that done by the manufacturer? Look at that. They've got that, nailed it. Those are perfect. They look absolutely scale-like and total precision, you know. And then you've got your rudder here. And then there's a little bit of, here's your framework for your support legs for the actual gear. And then we've got all this beautiful detail, and this is where I was not so happy, of course, where we had no information about what any of it was, which is just an opportunity missed. I mean, obviously here we've got ammunition boxes, and the moulding is just exquisite. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. And you've got your tail cone here at the back of the bomber, where the gun pokes out. That's a really nice sprue, that. I love it. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, that's impressive actually. Some things on there that you know other manufacturers seem to struggle with. I don't know why. So, you know, it's like I say, when they're good, you know, they're better than other manufacturers at some things and absolutely way worse at others. There must be a reason. Must be in the design, either in the design process, or I suspect these guys have a lot of different subcontracted companies or agencies doing different parts of the designing. I think this leads to the inconsistency. Anyway, we're nearly done, folks, so bear with me, we're almost there. Hope you found it interesting. I have. In some areas it's amazing, in other areas it's disappointing. This is the top. Is it the top? Yeah, the top gun turret position, where it has the sort of glass house over the top of him. Excuse me, I just need a drink. There we go. Again, you've got the canning effect. Yeah, it doesn't look too overdone. Just give it character, there's no doubt about that. And then you've got your horizontal stabilisers, which are mighty big, aren't they? And then you've got the canning effect there too. But here it's a little bit more subtle, which is kind of the effect to my eye. I kind of like that better. Can you see what I mean? And then you've got your Top Gun turret ring there. And there's the other part of it over here. Yeah, it's got real presence, hasn't it? It's got some nice moulding there. And that just leaves us actually with, well, 2 sprues, but there's actually 1 sprue design. It's duplicated. So let's put that back in there. And then we will have our verdict. It's another missed opportunity, isn't it, really, I think that in some areas it's outstanding, and in other areas it's deeply disappointing. I mean, the instructions are disappointing, but not deeply so, because they have improved a bit. At least we know. They had to put colour call-outs in this. They made themselves the laughing stock of the world if they hadn't. It would have just been absurd. So they at least did something and gave us a bit of an idea. But you've still got to do a lot of research if you're not a MIG ammo user, you know. You've got to start looking up colour charts and comparisons, you know, to try and interpret it into whether you're using Tamiya or a Taka or, you know, MIG, Mr. Colour, 8K or whatever. Again, we've got a little bit of slide moulding that's gone on here. More gun drums, yeah, ammo drums. The guns themselves are here. And there's a whole load of these drums along here, there's a whole host of them. Yeah, so there we go, that's kind of it, folks. There's two of these because there's a lot of them. Yeah. So, I mean, I can see the appeal of this kit. I think you could make it look absolutely brilliant. I think it is let down. I think the clear parts do let it down quite badly. When you've got a bomber with a huge glasshouse area, you've got to nail the clear parts, and they haven't. So that has left me a little bit disappointed, if I'm brutally honest with you. And I was so hoping it was, you know, because I know Stewart had very high hopes, and he said, "Oh, don't prejudge it." I said, "Okay, fair enough." Fair comment, that is, fair comment. Now, I have got a bit of an issue here, because getting this back up is one thing. Getting it in a way that I can show you is quite another. I'm going to do it like that. So, what do we think then? I have to say I thought the figures were brilliant. Nothing wrong with them, no problems there. There's a bit of clean-up on that flash, but it's not really an issue. So I'd give them a 10 out of 10 for the figures as a separate kit. This though, as I say, so much glass area, you know, you've got to nail it on the glass. And these areas here and here, you know, and here, some of the bubbling around here, the most curved, high curvature areas were a bit disappointing. I mean, they really weren't anything like, you know, if you were to rank the manufacturers and you said ICM first, Tamiya second, Okimura, Airfix, and then you started going down, Revell, a bit further down, you know, these guys are becoming pretty low, wouldn't they, you know, in 2026. I just think it should be better than that, at that scale. And on a model subject like that, where there's no hiding it, you will notice that those are a bit iffy. Not so bad around this area. The windows down the side are okay. That wasn't too bad, but around here, no, wasn't good. Wasn't good. So I'm going to have to mark it down for that. I'm going to have to mark it down for the instructions being A, inconsistent, B, only ammo MIG, and C, this inconsistency and not giving any information about something that's such a complex machine, and we need to know a bit more about it, you know. So I think I'm not going to be too brutal because I love the plastic. That grey plastic is really well done, you know, and they've really, it's well packaged. It's in great decals. No mask set though. That's another thing that's a bit of a disappointment. When you're spending that money, I would still expect the mask set in there because it's going to cost you 20 quid's worth, probably thereabouts. So I'm going to call it. I'm going to say 9 to 9.25. What do you think? I don't think it's any higher than 9.25 because the clear parts are wounding it badly. I think a quarter of a point off the instructions, half a point off for the clear parts, and we're at 9.25. I'll say that 9.25. That's where I'm at with it. That's my opinion. I think there are some areas where they are mighty impressive, and they just need to work on the areas where they ain't, and where they are totally inferior. And the clear parts are the number one inferior area for me. The things on the instructions, if they just had the will to do it and stop being so resistant, you know, in the long term, they're just going to end up. You end up with a situation where you only have fans of that particular brand, and it can't expand beyond that because people like me will go, yeah, but you know, yeah, but you don't want to be yeah, butting. You know, and I've said this with Airfix, but more about their quality, the inconsistency of it. But at least when they get it right, you know, the Jaguar last year, Airfix, it was all good. You know, there's nothing wrong with that kit. These guys are consistently failing in one area or another. Instructions and, well, clear parts, you know, and these bigger ones like the Lancaster. So I think 9.25 is fully justified. That's where I'm at. So thank you very much. I can't thank Stewart Neale, though, enough for letting me have the privilege of going through that in that way. And I really enjoyed looking at it, I've got to say. I think he'll make a brilliant job of that, and I'm sure he'll find ways to... I don't know if there's going to be some alternate clear parts you can get, or whether he just turns a blind eye and, you know, perhaps a bit of battle damage will make you think that it's not that vital, you know. But I just think that for something so expensive and that was so fanfare, you know, there's such a fanfare and a lot of publicity around it, you would think that they would have learned by now from the Lancaster experience that is a very important area, and they don't seem to have done so. They haven't moved forward except in the oil canning effect and putting some colour call-outs on. Beyond that, it's a bit like the ones they've done before, I think. So they have made some improvement, but not enough. But at least 9.25. It's not a bad score. It's a good score, but I think it's a missed opportunity, so that's where I'm at. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I know it's been a long one. Sorry about that, and I may have repeated myself slightly, but I think it's worth emphasising on something that's so expensive and so critical that we just remind ourselves of the competitors in the market and where we all are, where they stand. And I think it's reasonable to just, you know, to say it more than once that, you know, they need to improve, and I think that's not that difficult for them. I'm sure they could, because there's other people, Meng, who are producing better clear parts than that. So I'm sure it could be done, and I wish them well in the future. I hope that they'll, you know, move on, and perhaps the next kit they do will be better. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, please, to A, subscribe, B, notifications, very important, and C, perhaps the most important of all, become a member of the channel, because members of the channel get all sorts of benefits. You're going to get all manner of live chats, special members only shows. There'll be live shows which we haven't done before. I'll be doing in the near future, and of course, as I mentioned, there's some goodies that regular members that stay with the channel, stay loyal to the channel, 3 months or more, will get. If you subscribe to the middle or the upper echelon, the medium, which is the flight lieutenant, or the squadron leader rankings, you will get some kits for your trouble. So all I ask is that people pay for the shipping wherever you may be, and if it's a far-flung country like, you know, New Zealand or somewhere, we can talk about it. And if you would rather have 2 smaller kits to make the shipping quite low, I don't mind. I don't mind what you have. I'm not trying to sort of dictate what people have. If people want to say, I don't want to have a huge kit that's going to cost $40, you know, ship it. No, send me this and this and this, and the small ones, 2 or 3 of that. fine. So we say basically it's up to £50 worth for the medium category, and over £50 worth for the £50 to £100 for the squadron leaders. So by all means, if you're in those countries, just drop me a line, mrmatchboxers@gmail.com. And it'd be nice if all the members actually did that, and I was able to get all your contact details, because I'll need them anyway in the fullness of time. So thank you very much for those of you who have supported the channel and joined as members. I'm sure you're going to have lots of fun, and we'll have some very interesting evenings, I'm sure. Well, some of you it might be morning or lunchtime, I don't know. But look forward to that in the near future. So thank you for your support, really appreciate it. And till I see you again, stay well, stay safe. Thank you very much for joining me. Take care of yourselves, and bye for now.